Welcome to the Local Marketing Source Weekly Update, brought to you by localmarketingsource.com.
This week's Local Marketing Update is brought to you by Scott Gallagher. Scott is the co-founder of Local Marketing Source and has become the recognized expert in providing online marketing services to local businesses. Follow Scott on Twitter at ScottGallagher5 and on Facebook.com/ScottPGallagher.
Hey, well, good afternoon, everyone. Scott Gallagher here with Local Marketing Source, and this is our weekly local marketing industry update. We've got quite a few different things to talk about today. It's been a busy week all around for myself, as well as a busy week in the local internet marketing world. We've had some awesome successes in the last week for some of our premium students. We've got a whole bunch of new students that came on board over the weekend for Black Friday. It's just a lot of exciting things going on that I wanted to address. I want to have a little bit of an orientation today for some of those new students that are aboard. And I know some of you had not been notified just because of the timing of our emails and when you came in and whatnot. So sit back and enjoy. We've got, I like to tell stories, and a lot of you know with this premium program that I started back in September, we've now completed it. And Monday was our last official meeting. Now we are having a couple of more throughout December. And it's just been amazing. I've learned so much in the last 3 months working with these people from different ways. And I was talking to somebody today, and what's interesting is we've got people from all around the world that have been born in 4 different countries and have different backgrounds, different upbringings, different education levels, different experience levels, different exposure to internet marketing, different experience as far as long they are in regards to their agency. One is making $20,000 a month when he started, and a couple of others had zero business when they started. So the spectrum is just immense. I mean, their work ethics, everything is the spectrum is huge. But yet, what was interesting was they all experienced a lot of the same human challenges, and it all comes down to accountability and focus ultimately, that the value that they tell me that they found from the program. And it was a matter of identifying what needs to be done and then recognizing what do you know today to get that done, and what do you have to do to go and find out how to get that done, tackling it, taking action and trying to get it done, evaluating yourself based off of what you tried to accomplish initially, and being able to replicate that. And that's all we did with each and one of these people all the way through. And everybody experienced different challenges and hurdles and whatnot, but that process really was the same thing to get through it. And so I'm very, very proud to say that those 2 students that I had mentioned that had nothing, no internet marketing agency whatsoever to start, are now making recurring revenue, and it's in the 4 figures. It's a great start. And you can't, I mean, that's mind-blowing to me. It's fantastic that somebody could be going along a certain way, and then they create their environment, that they impose the system of accountability and a system of focus, and then they shift gears, and boom, their lives are different. And that's programmed into every one of us. So when you're thinking about, here we are, December 2nd, this is our month that we got to start thinking about, what are we going to do for 2016? What's the next step that we've got? Do we have a plan in place? And with that plan, do we understand the different elements of what we need to accomplish? You've got 30 days to get that plan together and start out rocking come January 1st. And then you got to do it again and again. One of the conversations with those students today was, I don't know. I'm feeling lost now that it's over. I don't know what to do. I said, just do everything you've done over again. And she said, oh my God, that's it. I've got to look at everything in terms of quarters. Every 3 months, I got to sit down and take a step back and reevaluate myself and blah, blah. And she talked for 15 minutes. I'm smiling and I'm like, yeah, you got it. And it seems so simple, but it seems also so complex for so many people. I myself have got to be accountable to you guys when I can. And unquestionably, I have failed at getting the right systems of accountability and focus for myself at many, many different times for many different things. I do have to admit that my partner at Local Marketing Source provides me that framework for this company. And this company would not exist, 100% would not exist if it wasn't for my partner in this business. Most of you that listen to this don't even know his name or who he is, but that's not the point. There's just so much value in so many different ways. But one of those things that he gives me is those systems of accountability and focus. We want to talk about a big change that's happened in Google in the last couple of days. Google has removed the location settings. This could be tough for some people. We're going to talk about the Google local messaging. You know, I've been talking a lot about packaging lately with some of my members recently. That's the 5th P of marketing, packaging, and it's so important. You know, here's a quick little story about packaging that a lot of you may not know about. Any of the members that are in the portal right now are seeing my videos that some of them have been created some time ago. We're not talking dozens of years, but we're, a couple of years old. And when that product was first launched, our retention rate went through it dropped dramatically. I mean, by 7-8 times. I mean, we were getting almost instantly, overnight, we went from a product that had really high retention rate and really satisfied customers. We launched our next version, or the version that you see right now was launched, and our retention went from like 20% to, sorry, no, the other way around. Our refund rate went from 20%. It hit 87% for 1 week. And I had my stomach, I got sick. In the information business, you got to assume that a certain percentage of people are going to refund. It's the nature of the business. But you try to deliver your value and show that you want the right people in there. And that's what I want. We're more than happy to give back a refund to anybody that doesn't see value in the ongoing value of the Local Marketing Source membership. It's that simple. So if you're a new member and you're just listening for the first time right now, keep that in mind. But there's a reason why successful members have stayed with the program for quite some time. You're going to see that as you get into the content. But I digress. And it was heartbreaking for me. I spent 8 months of my life, 40 to 50 hours a week, with a full-time employee helping me create all that material and record it and do the animation and script it out and prepare the workbooks and everything like that. And all of a sudden, boom. But at that point in time, we were selling it for $1,800. And we couldn't figure it out at first. We polled everybody and did what we did. Anyhow, the point of the story is the product was repackaged. It was packaged into a membership valued at $100 per month. We sell that all year around for $100 a month. They come in, and most of our members, majority of our members, now stay with us. We now have a refund rate of sub 10%, which is almost unheard of in the information business, selling information online. It's very, very low. And our members stay with us for a lengthy period of time. So, but it was the same content. And at the end of the day, the value of our memberships, of our members, is the same. over the term of the length that we work with them. And yeah, we do a little bit more effort than we did initially in terms of weekly content that we deliver and webinars and different elements like that. But that's easy peasy. And I love to do that. That's the best. That's what I'm doing right now is my passion. I get to do what I love to do. Just give me an audience. Some people like to listen to me. It's great. But my point is the packaging. That this company that you're a part of right now was immediately transformed just the way the perception and the packaging and the flow of it. Now I can get into great discussions as to why. I mean, the fact is the business when it first was launched was set up for a linear approach, and especially going through this premium program, there's nothing linear about anybody. Everybody's different. I mean, everybody's got a different situation and story, albeit we all make the same face on the shitter, where we've got the same challenges internally in the big picture of it all, right? But packaging is so important. And I started to talk about packaging because the evidence over years and years is Google is making their mistakes at packaging with local businesses. And whether you're just getting into this paradigm or you've been in it for quite some time, it astounds me that since they entered in 2009, the changes that have gone on of the different tools and whatnot, our strategies have never changed at Local Marketing Source. Our strategies have not changed over time. I don't care that things change. I'm talking about right now elements of packaging that, what we've seen with Google Plus. So I'm going to talk about some of the Google Plus upgrade, frequently asked questions. I know I touched on some of that last week. But we need to understand that, everybody at Google, they're not all rocket scientists and they're not all the smartest people on the planet. And they do mess up over and over and over. So most recently, we're seeing small business owners all around the world that are beginning to vocalize themselves in different groups and forums about their frustrations with Google. SEOs are no different about, vocalizing it with the lack of clear Google messaging as to what they are doing and what they're trying to accomplish. So I'm going to get into some of that. For some of these new members, we want to talk about value. And no different than myself in running my business, that we want to underpromise and make our attempts at over-delivering, that you should be no different, with your clients and how you work with them and whatnot. And, our packaging quote, that fifth P as to how we package ourselves, we're not an SEO company to our clients. There's no way that we're just an SEO company. Of course, the end result, or the best end result, let me say, is having our client ranking number one on Google for their top keyword. Well, that by definition is a process of SEO. But what we do to accomplish the top rankings for our clients is not a process that changes. So albeit Google changes their algorithm and changes and screws up their messaging and their packaging, we're not utilizing a lot of different tools that are out there to create our SEO campaigns. We're using fundamental marketing principles, and that's fundamental marketing is just creating the right messaging, right? And communicating that messaging in a clear, concise fashion to your intended audience. And your intended audience is people that are potential buyers. So, a dentist is not a potential buyer for me in this program, unless that dentist says, I don't want a dentist practice anymore, and I want an internet marketing agency. So they're irrelevant to me. A dentist wants to talk to people that have problems with their teeth and have either insurance or the money to pay for it and live within a short distance of driving, or that patient is willing to travel to that location. So anybody that fits into that category is the target audience. And us in marketing, we just, all these different tools and strategies and whatnot are just figuring out the different ways to get to that audience. None of that's ever written in stone. Every situation is unique and different, and even within your agencies, it's going to be slightly different. But they say that In the online world of internet marketing, the money is in your list. And your list is not one, well, you could go out and buy a list. I mean, that's a list. It's just not a very qualified list. It's no different than saying the difference between primary marketing and secondary marketing research. Primary marketing research is always going to give you much better data for what you're trying to do. And all primary marketing research is you going out and getting the information itself, you doing the surveys, you conducting the analysis. Secondary research is going and getting data that people have already collected. You're always better focused on yourself. So if you want to get, well, here's a wicked tip for you. When you're trying to create content and you want to distribute that content for your clients and you want to create content for your clients, do a survey for them and poll their audience. Get a little bit of education on how to create an effective survey, depending if it's a business to business or business to consumer and their perception values of it and whatnot. Once you get that data back, you'll be able to create multiple pieces of extremely valuable content that comes from a primary marketing resource. It's never been done. Not for your dentist and their patients in that geographical area. So the money's in the list, and the best list that you're going to have online is one that you own. That's not people that are on your Facebook fan page. Facebook controls how much of those people that see it. It's between 2 and 6%, by the way, right now. Your custom audiences that you may have on Facebook or Google, you don't really ultimately own those. They control the rules around all that. Whether it's comments, likes, shares, tweets, followers, fans, those are all lists. But those aren't lists that you completely own. Your email list is a list that you ultimately own. And with that, you can generate revenue, whether it's a local business, whether it's your agency, or a business like mine that sells information, or my agency that sells to chiropractors and couriers. It's your email list. And there's not much value in you selling email marketing to a prospect if they don't have a qualified list. So you help them create a qualified list while you're engaged with your services. You may or may not know about my review acquisition system, and that's a fantastic system for you to implement for all and every one of your clients. Your goal is to get them to number one on Google, right? But this review acquisition system, once you learn it, it helps create a highly targeted email marketing list of their existing customers. And we know there's 3 ways to build and increase business. The hardest way is getting new customers. The other 2 ways are increasing your customer spend amount and increasing your customer spend frequency. And those 2 ways are often missed by business owners. And when you can show that value to your clients and teach them the aspects of the marketing, that there are other ways that they can get greater amount of revenue out of their existing bases, but you hired me for new what? I mean, that's the ultimate way to over deliver to them. You create this asset for them that is invaluable. They don't know today that an email marketing list, the right email marketing list done right for them with the right prospects, the ones that I was talking about for that dentist that's out in that area, is going to give them is worth so much. It ultimately is. I can go on and on and on. I mean, I've sent emails out before that have generated tens of thousands of dollars. You guys just saw it last week. We create a campaign, we create content, we deliver that content over a period of time, we give value to our fans that are on our opt-in list, and then we give them our offer. And you do that over 7 to 10 days. And we generate 5 figures by hitting a few buttons. It takes a lot of effort, though, to build that list. And they don't recognize these things, and they see that happen over time. And on month 4, when they have 50 people on that list, you offer them 1 month of email marketing, and then you say it's $400 a month after that. They'll see the value in it in that first month. Mark my words. You can generate a quick ROI of $400 with almost any business if you've got 50 customers on their list, and these are 50 top happy customers, by the way. We call them the rah-rah customers or the hero customers. You imagine having 50 hero customers for a dentist? And how are you going to, if you had 50 dental patients on a list and 50 dental patients have said, we really like you, and have gone on to leave positive reviews, do you think you could generate $400 in revenue? Their margins at that point in time are going to be almost insignificant. So let's say you need to generate $500 for them to have a break-even point in revenue. That's one patient for one procedure. You know, the problem with business is they don't effectively communicate their message, right? Marketing. And if you don't effectively communicate your message, sometimes your customers, your patients, don't know what you have to offer. I get it frequently in my own business. And it tells me that I've got to improve certain elements of my messaging and communication. We're constantly trying to improve that. When I get an email from somebody and they say, I don't understand the difference between the, well, I could take 2 of my programs, my local marketing source membership and the premium agency growth group. One's $5,000 and one's $100 a month. Big difference. You know what the truth is? All the content is the same between the 2 programs. The only difference between the 2 is that accountability and focus that's really given. So these people pay $4,900 to get focus and accountability, and pay $100 for hundreds of hours of education and dozens and dozens of documents, and you know. But it don't let me try to undervalue that program. I'm going through testimonials right now with everybody in that program, and 100% of them have said we want to continue. I've told 75% of the group that I'm not taking any money from them for the second time around, and they got to get to work. You know, they're on the verge of getting their return on investment even before they were done the program. Give it 1 more month, and they've gotten, you know, well, half of them already have gotten the return on investment. The other half is on that verge, and by the end of the year, they're going to get their ROI. So the value's there, but they've just consumed so much in 90 days. It's like, guys, you got a lot going on. But what we have created for them is the system of accountability to continue. And we're inviting them to shadow all new programs. And I hope that they will participate in these weekly calls and start to do what we did on an intimate level with them. I know it's going to give you guys greater value. You guys have got to open up more on these calls as well. Mark my words, there's a vast difference between these calls and the premium members. And I think they can get closer, much closer together. We've got a lot of successful people in our program. So typically what I do with these calls is I'll give you just a quick overview of what I'm going to talk about. You know, I'll tell you what I'm going to tell you, and then I tell you, and then I tell you what I've told you. That's the magic formula, by the way, for any presentation that you're going to do. You know, especially when you're speaking on stage. And I hope many of you are going to aspire to speak on stage one day in your niche. And when you're putting this together, you tell them what you're going to tell them, then you tell them, and then you tell them what you've told them. Typically, I tell you what I'm going to tell you, and then I tell you. Right now, I've told you what I'm going to tell you. Now I'm going to tell you what I was going to tell you. And that's, we talked about the Google removing its location setting. And this is a short update. 2 days ago, it's gone. And there was a function when you did a Google search where you can say, set my location to this zip code or this postal code or this geographical location. It was great. You can't do that anymore. What do I think about that? I can't sugarcoat it. It's shitty. It probably, the thing is though, is we've seen these trends with Google forever, that they're constantly removing different tools and they're constantly removing filters. And these filters that tend to be removed are godsend filters for SEO people. And then the SEO community learns how to adapt. The reason why I don't like it is because I've got clients that are across the country, in different countries, and I'd like to know what's going on. If I just typed in, dentist, and I'm located in Chicago, and I've got a client in Los Angeles, I'd like to know what it would look like in Los Angeles, instead of me typing dentist in Los Angeles. Now, that's where I believe, you see, Google hasn't made an official announcement on this yet. So it could be a glitch in their system. It could be tests that they're doing. But it appears that it's rolled out globally. As far as I can see, it's rolled out in Canada. I don't know if it's out in Australia yet or Europe. I haven't found any official statements yet either. But it poses a problem for SEO people. And it's not that it's a tool that's going to help us cheat the system at all. It's a genuine tool that's going to help me better serve my client. I'm never out there to cheat Google anyhow. I'm really out there to communicate my message to my clients' prospects. And I know when I keep that in mind, we always tend to rank well. So I continue to keep that in mind and just stick with what I'm doing. You could always go get your refund and go with one of the other guys that are constantly changing their strategies and their tools. But we also have a lot of their students that stick with us. Anyhow, I posted in the Facebook group, in the LMS member Facebook group, that there is a download. I found a tool online that you can install into a browser extension that allows you to do location searches. I'm trying to figure out how this is going to impact automated ranking software like Bright Local. I'm not sure yet. I believe it's going to impact them. That sucks. If it does, I hope they can find a solution to it, because it will be a problem for us reporting. But at least you, with this tool that you can download, you can do those searches. Now, the caveat of this, and I haven't read anything online that talks about this yet, but I am sure that what has happened here, as Google has finally gotten enough confidence that they can determine the location that you're at, and in turn, you see, at one point in time when we did searches on the internet, keyword combination and keyword permutations were very important. And that notion has dissipated as time has gone on. Whereas anchor text wasn't nearly as relevant and whatnot. Essentially, we've got components of a keyword. At Local Marketing Source, we look at keywords differently, probably different than anywhere else you've ever seen. And how we conduct our keyword research is also an extremely different process, in my opinion. We don't utilize tools on the internet. Now, a keyword, the way we look at it, is broken into 3 components. And you've got your core term, And most businesses have 5 or less core terms. Like a dentist has 2, dentist and dental. Maybe dentistry could be a 3rd core term, but that's it. And then you got your core modifiers. And these are going to be typically for a dentist, for example, your core modifiers translate into symptoms, conditions, and procedures. That's what the dentist does all day, every day, all day long. Some of those, for example, for a dentist may be brand names as well, which fall under the procedure category. Zoom Whitening is a name brand. Ceratec is a process done on crowns. And then your 3rd component of a keyword is your geomod, or your geographical modifier. And sometimes searches include a geomod, sometimes they don't. But something in Google always triggers a local search, or straight up organic, or local being when you get the local pack. That may be based off of your location or whatnot. Now, where I'm going with this conversation, and that I'm saying I'm pretty sure that this is the case, is that Google has now got the confidence that if I can go and set my location for certain zip codes, certain zones, it's going to result in the exact same search as if I went and put a search phrase in with a geomod. That hasn't always been the case, and it's always been a problem because of keyword combinations and permutations. You would typically get different results for a variety. You know, dentist in Crystal Lake versus Crystal Lake dentist. I haven't gone and done all the thorough searches, but I gotta suspect that those results are now so much closer together. They're not going to be exactly close because we're dealing with a mathematical algorithm. But I suspect that Google feels like that those searches have all become close enough that combinations and permutations are no longer as relevant, and in turn, that's probably likely why the location setting was removed, and we can still utilize and get the data we need as marketers using what's in place today. So you guys are going to read a lot around the internet. A lot of people are going to be bitching and frantically being frustrated, and I don't think there's any reason to be. And I think that this is all good things. Just like when they removed the keyword tool inside AdWords and the keyword count and keyword data not being provided in Google Analytics, and people still bitch about that. And I never have. I said this is a good thing, guys. You know, that data was sidetracking us. It was putting us down paths that we should not have been for SEO experts, or let me rephrase that, for marketers. When I'm talking about the packaging of Google Local and Google Messaging, and you know, since 2009, the branding of Google Local has changed significantly, and most recently we've seen the demise of the Google Plus social network. Whereas 2 years ago, the entire company's bonuses was built upon the success or failure of that. You know, it took 4 years for Google Plus to finally fail, but it's done. And you know, Google has come out and said, you know, we've been asked, you know, where does the local business fall into place for Google, especially Google Plus as to what it is now? And it doesn't. But they just launched Google My Business not that long ago. And what is Google My Business? Business owners today are extremely confused because they received a year ago marketing for a Get on the Maps program. And it was about 2 years ago, Google mailed, at least in the United States, almost every single local business in the United States different packages of marketing to get them to invest. And then they had their Google AdWords Express that was launched, and to try to make it easy. And since then, Google AdWords Express has morphed into one interface of just Google AdWords again. They effed up there as well on their paid side of it. So the confusion that lies today is very large. But again, is this a problem for us? And how do we handle this with our customers if it comes up? And how do we handle this as SEO people? And all we really need to know is that Google wants to be involved with the local business. I mean, with the patents that we've talked about over the years that they've released and the businesses that they've put bids on and the businesses that they've purchased, it's clear that Google wants to own the entire supply chain from raw goods to consumer. That's a bold statement to make. No company has ever made that statement in the history of the world on a global scale, or at least a national scale in some countries. But globally, Google wants to have market share in the business of raw goods to consumer. Holy cow. Think of how many different hands raw goods go through to become a product or a service in manufacturing. Then you go through the distribution of warehouses and then retail chains. And, digitally, you've got, they purchased inventory software. They've purchased point of sale software. They've purchased manufacturing software firms. It's incredible where they want to go. But what exists today in 2015, 2016 is not what it's going to be in 2017 and 2018. All we've got to do in order to win with them is to really join in what they're doing and do exactly what they do. And that's try to deliver value to the intended audience. And as long as we're constantly showing them that, of course, at a lower level, it's like, well, how, Scott, how do we do these things? Well, I'm more than happy when you ask the questions to guide you to the right places for the right content to get in there so you can visually see what's going on and whatnot. But I hope that answers some of your questions, in terms of Google Plus and the integration and Google My Business and Google Local. And how about the fact that Google as a company is not even a company anymore? I bet half the people that are listening to this may not even realize that Google's now Alphabet and Google is merely a product. But anyhow, you can hear my cat in the background. I am stuck at home in Chicago in the snow now because my engine blew. And I got to determine, I got my brother-in-law coming by to start taking it apart. And guess I can bring it to the mechanic, but you don't want to drop, that's $2,000 to $3,000, man. Don't want to drop that if you don't want to. So I'm fortunate enough that I can stay at home. Today is day 3. And I can't go much more. I'll be buying a new car on Friday if I don't have this problem solved. But I'm going to open the floor. I'll be back in 30 seconds and answer any questions that you guys might have.
Well, thanks for watching the Local Marketing Industry Update. We've got these things coming out every single week. So if you liked with what you heard, just click the button right above me right here to subscribe to our channel. If you'd like to get a little bit more, right over here, go check out localmarketingsource.com. We've got free reports that you can grab. You can even register for a free marketing course to get in and see the portal. Or just go ahead and follow us on some of the social channels. We'll be around. Until next time.